speaking of the rich, lack of dignity, so much more. We follow this very closely. Things are coming to a head in the legal battle between Prince Andrew and Virginia Guiffre. Virginia Guiffre, for those who don't know, one of the most credible Epstein accusers, who accuses Prince Andrew of sexually assaulting her whenever she was a young girl. Multiple girls at the direction of Jeffrey Epstein and more. Well, a new, once confidential settlement agreement was revealed in court yesterday, which actually implicates Epstein, Prince Andrew, and validates a lot of what Virginia Guiffre has been saying. So let's put this up there from Law and Crime, which is that a 2009 settlement agreement was signed by Jeffrey Epstein, is now figuring prominently in the Prince Andrew case that is being brought in a civil court in New York City. So what you can actually see in the settlement, it was $500,000 settlement deal between, quote, other potential defendants from an Epstein-related liability. Andrew is actually invoking this once long secret provision in trying to fend off the lawsuit by Virginia Guiffre. Now, the reason why is that within the lawsuit, they basically argue that he falls into an expressly identified categories in a release of liability from within this agreement. But really why it's important is that this $500,000 payment from Epstein to Virginia Guiffre, this is a secret, it's a 2009 settlement, actually shows you that there was not an admission necessarily, but a payment between the two, and that validates, again, Guiffre's own claims that she was victimized by Jeffrey Epstein, and it goes that he was so worried enough about her, he was willing to pay her off to the tune of $500,000, and that it is possible that Prince Andrew and the accusations and more were even included within that settlement agreement, Krystal.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, listen, I'm not a lawyer. This seems crazy to me that you can have this kind of language in a settlement that says, not only are we done here, but you can't go after anyone else. And these groups of people get a total pass indefinitely, not just on any sort of sexual assault charges, but anything that they might do to you ever. It seems crazy to me that that is, you know, allowable, but that's the language that's in this. They have a quote in this article from an attorney, Mitchell Epner, who's a former federal prosecutor who led intake on sex trafficking cases in New Jersey in 2003 and 2004, who marveled at the breadth of the agreement. He said this is an extraordinarily broad release that on its face releases any claims that Ms. Guiffre has against anyone she might have been able to sue as a result of sexual abuse by Epstein. It releases all claims she ever had or now has for by any reason of any matter, whether known or unknown, from the beginning of the world to the day of this release. So if Prince Andrew had run Virginia Guiffre over in a hit and run, that would be released too. So just extraordinarily broad-reaching. This is some of the language that Alan Dershowitz has also cited in saying that, hey, you can't do anything here because I also was party to this agreement. And, you know, the other one that was done down in Florida that he helped negotiate also had similar language of basically like, you can't come after any of us at any time in the future either. It's just crazy. And to your point, sort of backs up her claims that there was a lot more going on here and it was a lot more than just Epstein. Because otherwise, why do you include all these other categories of people in this kind of settlement?
That's the key, which is that the settlement in 2009 was not just Epstein paying her off, but it included all this insane language within it to try and possibly head off events exactly like this one. From Prince Andrew, from the powerful people. You should remember, I mean, Guiffre is accused, not just Prince Andrew. Prince Andrew is one of the people in there. I'm talking about like former Prime Minister of Israel. A lot of different folks were named by her. I mean, with this one, it's just so clear. There's literally a photo of him with his hand around her waist when she was an underage girl. Like, you got him dead to rights. And, you know, he was like, I don't even know. What did he say in the interview? He's like, I don't even know if that's me. Or, you know, like, who knows?
Well, he's like, he was, and, you know, he was trying to say, like, oh, I have this condition that keeps me from sweating.
Right, yeah, that's what I wouldn't even beat me. I can't sweat.
Her lawyers, because she had said he was profusely sweating. So, I don't sweat, I have this condition. Her lawyers have been trying to get him to produce some sort of documentation of this alleged medical condition. That has not been forthcoming yet.
Yeah, no, there's the whole way that this has been handled is just so outrageous. And look, none of this is yet should be taken as evidence that there will ever be any justice here, because we should remember Prince Andrew is currently battling even the necessity of having to appear in court or even have his representatives be appearing here in a court in New York for civil court, because they don't want any of this to come to trial. They have gone to extraordinary lengths. Remember, we told you previously, like, they have gone to lengths to make sure he wasn't served with papers. They have argued that they don't even have jurisdiction over him because he lives in the UK. He has said that he will help US authorities, and the FBI has tried to interview him dozens of times. He refuses to schedule an interview. He's been retired from royal duties and completely in hiding ever since that disastrous BBC interview. He's a man with a lot to hide, and this secret settlement raises a lot of questions for him, Krystal.
Indeed. There's also a weird side note to this one, which is that it just so happens that two of the judges who were involved in the release here are the very same judges who railroaded Stephen Donziger and sent him to prison, Lewis Kaplan and Judge Preska. Just a weird side note of the way that these worlds intersect.
Just saying.
Just strange.
All right.
Hey guys, thanks so much for watching.
That's right. Just as a reminder, you can become a premium subscriber today. Watch the full show completely uncut, our reactions to each other's monologues. You get to listen to it. You get to ask us questions, all that good stuff. Link is right there in the description or at breakingpoints.com.
Best of all, great way to say screw you to the mainstream media.